6 things to follow to not waste this year. Number 1, take ownership. We need to make a choice. Do we wait until circumstances change in our favor? Or do we take ownership and change the situation ourselves? Most people never take ownership. They rather wait until some magic date where their problems and the situation they are in are changed for them. But it never happens. A lot of people get a head start in life. But this doesn't mean that if we don't, that we should give up the rest of our whole life to chance. We have power. We can influence the way we think, the actions we take, and also the decisions we make each and every day. And that's where we need to start. To stop waiting for the world to change and become the change ourselves. Years back when I was working as a waiter for long shifts, I had a choice to make. Do I spend the time off work investing in myself, my skills, my knowledge, and my health, which then eventually would allow me to earn more and work less? Or would I spend the time going partying, sleeping in, and watching Netflix? Now, I don't say that these things are necessarily bad and you should never do them, because I do go out, I do sleep in, and I also watch Netflix. But back then I knew where my focus and therefore my energy needed to be to get myself out of the situation. And that's the choice we need to make. And only we can make it. And the truth is, it's not easy because we need to change the way we think and we act. We need to change our identity. But it's worth every dime. Number 2, face the challenge. Easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life. Many people avoid challenges because they fear the unknown. They worry what other people would think of them and what happens if they fail. And I did too. The thought of me starting a YouTube channel was long in my head, but I never started. Why? I was afraid of what other people would think of me. Afraid of talking to the camera, afraid to fail. At the end, it's always easier to stay comfortable than to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone. But the truth is, avoiding challenges doesn't do us any favors. It just makes our life harder over time. It's painful to not go after the things we know we want. The little voice in the back of our mind that knows what we want to do. And it knows that we want to do something, to create that video, to write that book, or start that business. But there's just so much fear of the challenge that we don't do it. And unfortunately, there's no easy hack to make it all go away. But it will get easier over time. Because as we start to switch our perspective and see the situation for what it is, and that it is something that everyone experiences when they do something new the first time, we start then to reframe the challenges as opportunities of growth, a way to build up our self-esteem, our skills, and create a life that is meaningful and filled with purpose for ourselves. Because at the end, there's nothing as powerful as knowing that you did your best today, that you lived in alignment with what you truly want, that you built up the courage and acted despite of the fear of failure, and that you stepped into the arena and made it happen. The moment I built up the courage to do the first video, everything changed because it kicked off the ball and started the momentum. And in this moment, I felt great and my self-esteem grew. And the trust in my ability to do something that feels hard ran through the roof. And every video, every step I took thereafter created and strengthened my self-belief to do even more things. And therefore, every time we are now faced with a challenge and our inner fear starts to pile up, we take a pause, recognize that we are feeling this fear, then reflect and see that it's a completely normal response when you're doing something the first time. And then we just act. We just do it. And then when we are doing the work, we still feel this fear a little bit. But then after a while, it will slowly start to fade. Because we now build up resilience and made it our habit to face any challenges that comes our way. We are no longer running away from our problems, but we are facing them. Number 3, do it until the end. A lot of people quit right before success occurs. You pour your heart into a project, overcome these initial hurdles, and then nothing. So progress just stops, self-doubt creeps in, you compare your level 1 progress to someone else's level 50, and you start to wonder if you're on the wrong path. I mean, this guy here on Instagram, he's selling shoes online and he's super successful. Maybe I should also sell shoes online. And then this temptation to switch to something that seems easier becomes almost irresistible. And it's a common trap, and many people fall into it. I did too. Abandoning progress we made to follow something new that is more exciting and seems easier. But then, as we abandon the old and start to follow the new, we realize after a while that it isn't so glamorous after all as we thought it would be. It's actually hard work to get good at the new thing and to reach that level of success that we want to reach. And that's the truth. There is no easy path to success, no hacks, no get rich quick. It's not the field or the niche or the skill we have chosen. It's our dedication to focus on one thing for a long period of time to make it a success, to do it until the end, and to commit ourselves to do it for decades. And that's the realization we need to have. Because back then, as I was starting off with my career, I learned a bit of graphic design, a bit of photography, a bit of programming, a bit of web design, but it wasn't until I made the decision to go all in on learning how to program that I started to make real and big progress. And with that, programming then became an entry door to many different opportunities, from starting a first business with my products and also working in a software startup now as a product lead. We need to put in the reps and just do the work day in and day out. Try out different approaches to the problems we face until we find something that works, what doesn't work, and then at some point we will start to reach the tipping point where we get offered opportunities that we couldn't even dream about. We get more customers than we can serve. We are so skilled that the movements and the actions we need to perform became just second nature. And it's important to focus on our own journey and not fall into the comparison trap. You are running your own race. And as long as you are embracing the challenges along the way, break down the goals into smaller, achievable milestones, and then iterate until you find something that works, you will reach your destination. Good things take time. Rome wasn't built in a year. But with the strong dedication and this continuous effort, we will be surprised on what we will be able to achieve in the upcoming years. Number 4, be curious and learn. Many people fear AI and what it will do to the life as we know it today. I get it, I know those feelings. But I also know that every change brings an enormous opportunity for growth on all levels of our life. So we are faced with a choice. Do we embrace the unknown and dive right in? Or do we hide and hope it will never affect us? And I believe the latter strategy is not a good one, because in some way or the other it will come. And the adoption of AI technologies becomes quicker and quicker and will spread faster and wider in the upcoming months and years. And therefore, embracing it and getting curious about it and learning how we could use it for ourselves to become better and advance becomes key. Because remember when you were a kid, the world was like this giant playground. You were curious about everything, taking things apart, asking why a million times, constantly exploring. But somewhere along the way, the curiosity just faded. And we were told to conform, to learn by rote, to accept the status quo. And we traded our innate thirst for knowledge for routine and repetition. But we all have this curiosity and this deep desire to learn still inside of us. We just need to bring it back out again. And as Adam Grant said, author of the Hidden Potential, he highlights that the ability and the motivation to learn new things is a greater predictor of success than our initial talent. And it's a choice we can make every day to stay stagnant or to embrace growth and learning. In that sense, curiosity becomes more important than knowledge. And curiosity can not only help us learn and understand upcoming technologies and advance in our career, it can also drive us in connecting more deeply with other people by genuinely wanting to understand different perspectives and thereby building stronger relationships. Also understanding yourself by being curious about your own thoughts and feelings and to become more self-aware and then to really identify what truly drives you. Also, feeling more purpose and meaning by asking why can reveal the impact of your work on others and then reigniting this passion and sense of purpose. And if I look back, the most exciting days were those where I just explored a topic, a tool, a book for the sake of it, where I just followed my innate curiosity and just thrown myself fully into. And most things I've ever learned that I now use in my everyday and in the work I do came from this deep desire to understand the world around me and just dive into one rabbit hole after the other. And if you're now thinking, but where should I start? Embrace the why. Challenge assumptions. Ask why about everything. Why is this task important? How does this impact others? Why do I feel this way? And then surround yourself with inspiration. Read books, listen to podcasts, and connect with people who inspire you to learn and to grow. I do this every day. Become an explorer. Approach the world with the sense of wonder. Explore new ideas, cultures, and experiences. Be like a sponge that absorbs information and perspectives. And at the end, curiosity is a muscle that needs to be exercised. Start small, be patient with yourself, and just watch as the world slowly expands in ways you might have never thought of. Number 5, lead with giving. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. It goes so fast that we solely focus on ourselves. We think about what we need and what we want, the things that we are still missing in our lives. But what if instead of constantly trying to get more for ourselves, we shift our focus and start giving more to others? To switch then this perspective from a state of scarcity into a state of abundance. To not operate from fear, but from inspiration and with the desire to create and give back. If you think back on the days where you had the most energy, were you driven by fear or were you driven by purpose? Because operating from this place of fear, it's exhausting and it's limiting. I know it for myself. And it creates a scarcity mindset where we focus on what we lack. However, when we shift this mindset to giving and contributing, we tap into a creative energy that wants to build something, that wants to give back. And this is then fueled by meaning and purpose. Because at the end, making a genuine compliment to someone doesn't cost us anything, and it can mean the world to the person we give it to. Also, creating a surprising dinner or helping a colleague who is struggling with a deadline. However small these acts of generosity might seem, they not only help us strengthen our relationships, but they also increase our own sense of fulfillment, of happiness. And we start then to act from the state of gratitude, where we have enough and we want to share our good fortune with others, offering our time and offering our attention. I still remember this one day in school. So Christmas was just around the corner and I had the sudden impulse to buy this huge basket of candy. And now back then it was a big deal because candy money was serious business. But something inside me just said, do it. And the moment then I started handing out those treats, my mood just went through the roof. Like pure joy, like fireworks going off inside me. And it felt like I was floating, like radiating happiness. And this feeling of deep fulfillment and making others smile, it was just incredible. And it's all just from sharing some candy. And it really opened my eyes on this power of giving. So therefore, if you think about your week, about the emotions you're operating from, is it based on fear or is it based on purpose? Are you focused on what you can get or what you can give? And so maybe try to introduce a few small gestures and see how it affects your mood and also the way the people interact with you. And you may be surprised on how these things might be coming back in the future. Number 6, reflect and adjust. If we don't set a clear intention, we become part of somebody else's intention. We are living with a constant need to do more, be faster, be more efficient. We adopt behaviors, goals, and thoughts of people around us. But is it really for us? Do we really need this fancy job title, degree, or car? Do we really need to be rich to be happy? We all know those are not the things that will ultimately make us feel satisfied and content. How goes the saying, the best things in life are free? Now, this doesn't mean we should now stop striving altogether and to trying to attain these things. However, we should do so with more intention. With the knowledge that we really want that car because we are obsessed with it, how it works under the hood, and the technology that lies behind it. We obtain it out of curiosity and love for the thing itself, and not because we were told so that we should want it. But this clarity on the things we really want out of life, for the thing itself, that won't come in an instant. It's the result of time spent by ourselves, doing reflections and better understanding, and then mapping out the things we want and the things we don't want. And so we need to take a break from the busyness we are often surrounded with, and carve out some time to spend by ourselves. Time where we record our thoughts and experiences, ask specific questions, and dive deeper into specific areas we might have so far avoided to really understand the desires and the things that drive us. And it's important to be really fully honest with ourselves here. And then, over time, we start to gain insights. We start to see patterns in our behavior, in our thinking. And so, as I have started writing down my thoughts on a continuous basis a few years ago, I started to see patterns in the actions I took and the thoughts I had. And I recorded the instances where I was at the bottom and moments of great success. And then, through it, I slowly started to better understand the things that I enjoy and that I want. Now, it's not that I now have everything figured out, but every time, every day, I'm coming closer to understanding myself fully and then adjusting my daily actions in a way that reflects the person I want to be. And this work cannot be outsourced. You need to do it because only you will know what truly drives you. And the first step of any change is becoming aware. Only once you know the patterns that we have and that we want to change, we know the problem that lays in the way between where we are today and where we want to go, then we can start looking for potential solutions. And so if you're asking yourself now, but where do I start? And I can recommend 3 different writing exercises I did over the years to start off. A day snapshot. At the end of the day, you just sit down and write down the things that have happened. What successes did you have? What were the things that annoyed you or caused internal tightness or arousal? And with that, you start to lay out a map of the things that bring you joy, that create tightness. And later, through questioning, we can then try to better understand the underlying feelings or the emotions that cause them and try to find solutions that help us to get them better in the future. The new start session. At the beginning of the day, set a 10-minute timer and then just write down whatever comes to your mind. And this way, you start to record your raw thoughts and emotions as they come. And then you can later go through it and look for similarities, topics that might come up often, and then dive deeper into them by asking follow-up questions. Answering prompts. Also a great way to learn more about yourself is through focused exploring, using specific questions like, if I knew I could not fail, what would I do? Do I still grow personally and professionally with the things I'm doing? What would I do if money wouldn't be an object? And you can also use your daily snapshots or morning writing sessions to find topics that you can take further apart. Also, you can use LLMs like ChatGPT to create prompts for specific situations. And if you enjoyed this video, you might also want to check out this one where I talk about 6 things I do after work. And remember, keep growing, keep striving, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.